What's up, guys? It's H-harnessHobo here. Today, I wanted to talk about tape. More specifically, using tape for your kit. Now, for this, we're going to be sticking directly with the airsoft guns and magazines, right? Nothing else like rigs or equipment. Not talking about putting tape on that, right? Just talking about magazines and guns for now. So, first, let's get into types of tape. So, as you can see here, I use mostly this blue tape. I got it off of evike.com. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's just a blue, thinner, sturdy kind of tape. Now, you can also use electrical tape, which works really well, which I like to use because it's black and it mixes in relatively well. I got some. This is like a Teflon tape. But anyway, you can use electrical tape. You can use duct tape. Don't use painter's tape. I don't recommend using painter's tape. If you want to use a blue tape, use something more like this more sturdy, thinner stuff. Don't use painter's tape. I don't recommend it. It'll just fall off. And then you can also use camouflage tapes and camouflage wrappings, such as this. It's like a camouflage kind of gauze. You can use that. That works well. And yeah, that's just a brief rundown of just what kinds of tapes. So let's talk about it, the history of putting tape on magazines and guns. So, history of it, you really see pictures of guys using more tape. I see a lot in Vietnam. You start to see that in Vietnam more, right? Start to see pictures of GIs with that green, that like lighter green tape on rifles and magazines, stuff like that. And the blue tape you mostly start to see in the Chechen wars and the wars that the Russians got into. Even I think in the Russian-Afghanistan war, you can see tape being used. And now, brief reasons why you use tape. Well, in those instances, the reason you mark your magazines with tape is to, signify what team you're on. Hey, I got blue, I'm Russian, right? That's they do that. And also to help not lose your magazines, it's easier to see blue stuff on the ground than a brown or green camouflage. But then again, I'm not an expert. That's just what I've derived from what I've seen, what I've heard other people talk about. Then I also use tape to attach the things together. We'll get into this in a second. And you can still see camo tape being used on rifles, even in modern, like in the war in Ukraine. You can see it, and it's just a thing you do. People do. You wrap tape on your gun. It makes it feel a little bit sturdier. Who knows, right? So let's get into jungle mags and tape on mags. I already just kind of talked about why you put tape on mags. Let's talk about jungle mags, right? Jungle mag, or, that's what I've seen a jungle mag called, is two Stanags taped like this together. So you can, if you have it in here, right, and you want to reload, you just hit that, get back right in, right? It's just so you can flip the magazine. So you effectively have 60 rounds, right? If this is a real thing, but this is airsoft. So these are med caps at about 100 each. So that's about 200 rounds, right? And you can just flip that, put it in, right? Which works well. If you want to do that, it works well. The downside is you can't really put this in a mag pouch, right? Like single mags. You can't really do that because, well, this is two mags and it's kind of a weird shape. And this doesn't look good in all guns. If you have your mags in jungle mags, it's really not going to look good in more modern builds, right? Like I know my rifle has a SOP mod stock on it and isn't completely retro, but it still has more of that look, so you can get away with this, right? So don't really know how well this would look in your like modern CQB build, probably not that well. And that's all to talk about tape mag pull, right? If you want to put tape on to make a little magazine pull, you can do that really easily. You just put one piece around, just simply like that. And what I do is I put another piece on the inside so it's not sticky. You put that down, and then you just tape it once or twice, and you've got a mag pull, so you don't have to spend $10 on actual mag pull stuff. I got this for I got a set of mag pull for like Christmas one year, my birthday or something, I don't remember. But it works well, but it doesn't work very well if you're going for the more retro kind of look. And so yeah, so jungle mag, put regular little bits of tape on your stand mags if you want to. And if you have AK mags and you don't have some blue tape on the bottom, what are you doing? I mean, I have it on my RPK magazine. Got on this little short mag. Got on my AKM mag, right? It just looks cool, right? It just adds to it. Let's quickly talk about taping the gun itself. So I'm going to use this M4 as reference. So the only tape on this right now is the tape right here, keeping the trigger guard taped down. Now, you can put more tape on your rifle, but for an M4 especially, I really think the only place you should be putting tape is on the grip, on the pistol grip, because it can make it more comfortable, especially if you got like a standard A2. I don't really find the A2 to be very comfortable, so I like having that little bit of extra. And I suppose if you want to, you put some tape wrapped around up here on the top of the clamshell, which can actually help because these are usually a little bit loose, so that can actually help. And I think if you put any more tape on your M4 than that, and if you have a full stock, which I don't, that can look good as well, but for this, I only have a little bit back here. Now on an AK, it's a little bit different. I'm going to go grab my AK. Yes, there's a bipod on it right now, I know. On your AK, if you want to put a little bit of tape up on the front handguard, that looks pretty cool. I have some on this pistol grip, because this pistol grip I find to be uncomfortable, especially if I have no glove on. And then there's a little bit on the stock just to help hold this in place, because it's a little wiggity. So I have that right there. If you want to wrap a little bit around the back, that doesn't look all that bad. You want to do a little on the front handguard, that works, right? It's all just personal preference, to be honest. And remember, you don't want to overdo it on your gun. If you put too much, then it's just not going to look very good. Now, if you have a skeleton stock on an AK, right, and you want to tape some, I saw a picture of a guy in Chechnya, and he has his entire wire stock taped to where it looks like a full stock almost. And now you can do that if you want to. I think that's too much, but really, wherever you want to put it, just usually keep it to the handguard, pistol grip, stock, I'd say usually. And I recommend making a few jungle mags. If you have AKs, you can do that. You do it like this. Shit. You do it like this, right? You can, if you tape it together like this, that works really well. You can, rock it out, rock it back in, which works pretty well and looks cool. You need to see more people running that. I might do that when I get more AK mags, but right now I don't really have a bunch, so I don't really want to do that. But yeah, and finally, just the aesthetic. It just gives you that more rugged aesthetic, right? You kind of feel like it's more taped together. Your rifle's a little more rugged, and it's not, all pretty and clean and held together with bolts. It's got some tape wrapped around it. It looks good, especially if you wear your rifle for a while, and the tape starts to wear, and the paint on your gun starts to wear. You get that real old school, grimy look. I think that's really what you want to go for. That's what I want to go for, at least. So as far as it goes, I think it just increases how good your rifle looks. I think it makes it look older. It makes it look more rugged. And I highly recommend, if you're getting an airsoft gun and you're doing the more militia, asymmetrical warfare kind of partisan look, then I recommend making some custom jungle mags, or taping the bottom of your magazines and putting a little bit of tape on your rifle. It really just makes that rugged kind of look on your gun shine through. And that's about it. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.